There you go. Yeah, right.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kamis Ridwan. I'm the Islam.
Language, you learn.
Public language is let me just consult. Now, you have the question, which language do you want to address? Then I'm according to when our legislative concerning preparation for the mediation, I think this is for you. I think this is the right time for you to ask which language. As a mediator, you're supposed to know before the time. How do I know? Before you have to know the background of the. Your audience is to hear you, sir. Your audience should hear because you're going to ask you. Go ahead.
Sir?
Are you? Yes. Any observation? Yes. Not that. Somebody is observing that you came to the mediation true count. You are not fighting. Any mediator, I am not. No one is out of the So you are coming already. So what am I going to do? When you already although that is not our focus is on the open statement. What the that is said, the open statement that does not capture the community statement, right? So at the end, now I will need us not use right. Let's be because now what we are hearing now dissect this whether this segment is not captured. All right, so let's have the is that what we then observation that's the so I contact the contact so the eye contact starts at the beginning to the very end. It will be very important. For that, the skill for this position did not give him the ability to have that eye contact. You can see how they are sitting. Okay, so what if I do like this? Good morning, Mr. Good morning, and all right, right? Right? I just write around. It is also possible. Now, these are things that you perfect with time. You perfect them with time. As you're talking, you have the ability to talk. Now, another thing, though not part of the opening statement, the issue of well, I forget it, but I remember. So I think that's all for the opening statement. But all I want us to do is since the opening statement, there are things that need to feature in it. Now, you have it at the back of our mind that some people are very fast talkers, some are slow, some you think get right. Yes, these are all things that you see. You know, for the future, right? The issue of donation and all this is the things. Yeah. All right, so the next one, thank you very much.
All eyes on you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming to this education process session. My name is Adamu Waisu, and I will serve as your neutral mediator for this education session. My role in this session is to serve as your neutral mediator. I am not here to enforce or to decide who is wrong, right, or wrong. Rather, I'm here to facilitate a constructive and understandable discussion between you to get a final solution to this issue. Before we proceed, as you sign our agreement form, you know all the rules of mediation, that mediation is a voluntary and voluntary process, that mediation is a voluntary process that each and every party will be listening, and before you talk, you should allow the other party to finish speaking without interruption. And all you say here will serve as confidential. We will not disclose anything until both parties agree otherwise. And whatever we agree here, we will use it into writing. And if any of you did not agree, then we pursue this issue in legal process. Can I know who I with? Thank you very much. And I know you know that we are here voluntarily, and you know all the conditions for this mediation process. So thank you very much. And so now I can hear from what parties you a lot?
I mean, everyone. So landlord, sorry, this is the landlord, right? All right. So what do you observe in the issue? Yes.
I was able to observe that the mediator did not state his qualification. Just a mediator certified by who not.
Well, because you know, it's about the confidence of party before you, about you as an individual. So there's a need for you to change. If you have all the time to read out all your qualifications, alhamdulillah. If you don't, just keep it so that it speaks about the person that is going to be with, the confidence that the parties are going to push. Yes.
I will say something. When you made mention in the beginning of
Certified by
Well, like focus on yeah, that's another presumption. We're talking about the parties. That's a presumption. You already know. So, like for me, personally, I don't do. Okay, let me give you, like for me personally, I don't do information. I'm a certified individual. Right? So since you said it's certified individual, I think that qualifies.
It's not certified.
Is it necessary to be certified?
Yes.
Okay, so now this your opening statement is very critical. Because you see from all the opening statement, I have not seen someone who has given the standard opening statement. The essence of the opening statement is to set the course of the event. So it's simple. There are components. I think we were taught yesterday. We didn't go, but we shared the recording of yesterday's training. And you didn't go that week again. You're supposed to listen to it again so that you understand. So the purpose of this practical is just to help you see how differently we understand things, and then so that you can also understand that the opening statement is one of the important things you need to learn. Because the rise and fall of the mediation depends on it. You can go back to yourself. Now, when you are doing an opening statement, simple. My name is Sanancha Namfram. I'm a certified mediator, possibly with Central Area Training Institute. I am a lawyer by profession, and I've been into this mediation for a while. You know, I have assisted parties possibly to settle dispute of this nature. You know, what are you doing? You are trying to help the parties develop the confidence in your ability and your capacity. Are we together? So I am an international accredited mediator. I mediate all over the world. I mediate in Nigeria and abroad. You know, certified with different media organization, and I am empaneled with the Kaduna State Multi-Law Court House, Lagos State Multi-Law Court House, NCC, DRC, you know, and all of those things. That's your credential. Are we together? Yes. Now, after you have introduced, remember you have asked the parties, you have told them your name already. My name is Nacha Nangwa. What of you? What of you? How do you want us to address you? The reason for the opening statement is so that the parties should get to understand what an opening statement is, what mediation is, and what it entails. Are we together? So you have introduced yourself, you have known how parties should, you know how you should address the parties at the table. The opening statement is your own opening statement. Parties have their own opening statement, which we say in negotiation, in the proposal. In mediation, it is their own side of the story. Are we together? So if you say that you are not going to go ahead, are we all together? Yes. Then you now go ahead and tell them that, okay, has any one of them attended a mediation session before? Then somebody will say, yes, I have. Yes, I have not. Now, whether they have attended it or they have not attended it, you need to tell them what mediation is. Because some of them, when they are coming, they will think that it is a courtroom and they will feel that let you just decide for us. Are we together? So you tell them the principles, you tell them about mediation and the principles of mediation. Mediation is an assisted negotiation, or it is a process where a third party is appointed. That third party is neutral, is independent, is not interested in the outcome of your issue. Is not related with any one of you. He has nothing, in this matter. Is independent, is neutral. Are we together? I have nothing to do. Let me just put it. I have nothing to do with your matter, but I am here to assist you in order to have the conversation for the purpose of, understanding yourself and resolving your issue. It does not have a particular cause, but there are important elements that should be contained. Are we together? So if you tell them mediation is a process where a third party is appointed, that third party is me. I am the mediator. I am here to assist you to discuss your issues. Now in mediation, I am not going to be making decision or taking decision for you. The decision making is your own. You are the one that is going to do the conversation. You are the one who is going to formulate the issue on the agenda. You are the one that is going to discuss the agenda. You are the one that is going to agree or have a solution that befits you. My role here is to ensure that I guide you through the process, through my experience, through my knowledge, until you get to. Then in this process, there are two sessions. There is one that is called joint session, and there is one that is called private session. That joint session is the one that all of us were here together. You are here, I am here as a mediator, you are there, as parties. Then at some points in time, I may decide that I want to go into a private session with one of you. That private session is called purposing. When that time comes, you should understand that anything I go and I discuss with this person, is private and confidential. And also, whatever I discuss here with this person will also be private and confidential. Then you mention some of the principles of mediation, which will say, your participation here is voluntary. Nobody is coercing you, nobody is forcing you, and you can withdraw at any point in time so that they will be sure. Everything we discuss here is going to be what? Private, is going to be confidential, and it's not going to be disclosed to anybody. Why are you telling them? So that their mind will be settled. Imagine if somebody say, our last born baby is not your baby, or that, your baby is Megat's baby. When you do that kind of confession, voila, good day. So if it is in caucusing, you have to ask the parties, do you mind if I share that with you? No. I just take you as our mediator, please. Do you understand? So ask the parties, do you want to disclose? Now, both the joint session and the private session are all covered by what? Confidentiality. But remember, there are exceptions. You don't need to tell the parties the exception. When there is crime, where somebody is saying he's going to go and commit crime or has committed crime, it is no longer mediation. Remember, we told you that mediation happens where parties have absolute power over what? The matter. They can say Nayafi, and nobody can say Baraka Yafi. Do you understand? But the one that you steal or you kill somebody or you rape somebody, that one, even if the family say Muyafi, police will say Muyafi, but we will prosecute you. You remember. So you tell them about the principles, confidentiality, voluntariness, the decision making, self-determination, the decision making is their own. Are we together? You have explained to them. So that when the time comes and you say, I want to discuss with one party, you don't say, what are you people going inside that place and discussing? And then you will be looking at time. Are we together? So your opening statement is very important. It sets the course of the mediation. It explains what it is, the principles, the processes, so that both of the parties will get to understand. Are we together? Then one of the things you do also is rule. You set the rules. Are we together? You set the rules. Now, people usually advocate, say, just tell them, put off your phone, don't answer call, don't talk when other person is talking. My own approach is that I always train my participants. I train them to collaboratively formulate uh, the rules. So if you approach them this way, because we say parties are involved in the same thing, we say, so for us to be able to have meaningful conversation, there are certain rules that we should agree on. Or do you want everybody to be just be talking at will? You say, no. You say, okay, will it be okay if we decide that, okay, one person speaks first, then after that, no interruption, you wait until, if you have anything or you say anything that you feel you want to react, just jot it, just like lawyers do in court. They will take note of it and then they will respond later when they are saying their own side. So when you ask them like that and they say yes, you see that it is all of us that decided the rule. I did not tell you. I did not, because if you start acting like that, they will be seeing you as a judge. Maybe if you do anything, you send them to prison. So they will be in the mediation session and they will be afraid. Are we together? So you will not tell them, okay, in case, I think, so that we will be able to have a meaningful discussion, will it be good for us to put our phones on silence? He said, yes, so but if you have any important this you can just take an excuse and then you go and answer your. You see, you are doing it together, and that is what mediation does to us. At the end of it, when parties agree, they own the outcome. They say, Mune Muka. Do you understand that kind of I Mune? But when you must do whether you like it, but when it is your own, you own it. Are we together? So once the parties are able to understand all these processes, then you don't have any issue. When you continue, when it is time for you to go for caucusing, you tell them that, okay, I want to go for caucusing. Remember, when you are going for caucusing, let the other engage the mind of this other person. Tell the person that, see, I want you to be thinking of what do you think? How will it be like if you're able to settle? How will you feel if you're able to settle this dispute and everybody goes peacefully? So engage the person while you're going. Are we together? So that's your opening statement. It explains the mediation process, what mediation is, the rules and regulations that you should continue. You tell them about your note. We say it's private, right? And confidential. So you tell them nothing is that is said here will be heard outside. And so nobody will publish it, nobody will discuss anything about it or say anything about it. So once you have said those things, you now ask them whether there is anything they want to add. Is there any rules? This one, you say, remember, you tell them that, okay, it will be good for us to speak responsibly, isn't it? Responsibly, right? And then we should, we should avoid maybe using abusive language and all of those things. Would that be okay by us? We say, yes, because especially this man and this woman, I know her mouth used to run. Right from there, you have to start settling some things because she will just say, especially thank God, let's set it, because this woman, so you have to guide the process from the beginning. Once you are done with your opening statement, the parties know why they are there, what brought them there, and they know their role and their responsibility. Everything rises and falls with them. Are we together? So we are going to we will do practical where we want you, when they say practical, the mediator should be able to sit down and give us a comprehensive opening statement. One of your assessments will be you are going to do an opening statement, 3 to 5 minutes. You will record the opening statement by yourself and you upload this. One of the assessments you are going to do. Because you have to be conversant with it. That is one of the critical things that you must know. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what we want to do is that we'll begin to start lunch. When we are sitting, we will arrange and be passing so that I will not be distracted. Is that okay? Is that okay? Uh-huh. Now, having said this, you have set the course of your mediation. Then you tell them if they have anything any rule they want to add. Do you understand? They may mention something that they feel is important, and once that is done, you are ready to proceed with your mediation session. Meanwhile, they will say their own opening statement. This one will say his own opening statement. Then you are going to set an agenda. Are we together? So we are supposed to do a full mediation session where you do your opening statement, go into the party's opening statement, and after the party's opening statement, you set an agenda, discuss the agenda, and see whether you have arrived at a settlement. Now let me say it. In as much as we are trying to get parties to settle, it is not every mediation session that will end at a settlement. But we have taught you about the roles of a mediator and how he needs to act professionally, isn't it? And that because he may end up destroying the session because if he's impatient and parties are misbehaving and you begin to insult them and say, don't move on, that's why you see you have ruined the session and that will be an end of the session. So you have to be patient. Qualities of a mediator. You have to be patient, you have to read their body language, you should know when you should go for focusing and the rest of it. Are we together to this point?
Yes, sir.
Are we together to this point? Yes. Now, we are going to discuss something. Remember, it's not every opening mediation that ends at a settlement. But that result should not be as the result of the irresponsibility or impatience of the mediator. Are we together? So a mediator should give everything he can, do everything he can to ensure that he helps the parties to find an amicable settlement. But if it doesn't work, don't say, so don't behave like that. Are we together? So many, find out why is this person saying what he's saying. Sometimes people have a lot of issues in their mind. Are we together? And they don't have an opportunity to express it. And communication has broken down. Are we together? So let me tell you something. This mediation we're talking about is a special therapy. Are we together? Some people, they are looking for who to talk to. If it is husband and wife, maybe the husband is not available or the wife is not available. If somebody else outside possibly that is available, so you see the person will be visiting and be talking and be talking and be gisting. Do you get it? So when you come to the session, once you give parties opportunity to vent, say let's talk for 5 minutes or 10 minutes without interruption, you see that this person will talk and talk and talk. By the time they finish talking, it will be as if one burden has been lifted from their heart. Are we together? So that alone is a therapy. So even if you are not able to resolve them, for the fact that you gave them opportunity to talk, to express their mind, you have achieved something. Some people will go after a while, they will think about what they have said to themselves. And in fact, they will get to know why this person is behaving the way he's behaving. Maybe they are carried. And once there is no money, you can get angry easily. If you see a rich man and an Okada man maybe hit his car on the way, and when he comes out and check, you will be trying as much as possible to run away from the place before they will come and gather him, even though it is the other person. Maybe they will beat him up. He is looking for a way to escape. Are we together? But some other people, even if it is 5 naira change, they can fight on it. Are we together? So some people, they have a lot of bottle things that are bottled up. So when they express themselves, they find relief. And the basis or the conflict or the crisis may not be there. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So take note of that. Mediation is therapeutic, right? It helps relieve some kind of stress. Are we together? Alright. Now, having established that it's not all mediation session that is settled, sometimes you get to a deadlock. What's a deadlock? Parties are no longer communicating, things have reached. That's why we are now teaching people how do you break away from these things. Because if you just say, this party are not interested again, so you want to go. No, that's not professionalism. And don't go and add to the record of the mediation you have settled or you have not settled to say, the people are not settled. Do your best. And it's part of the doing your best that we're going to teach you. How do you navigate your way when parties have reached a deadlock? When there is stalemate, they are just standstill, nothing is moving. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So how do we do it? How do we do your worship? It's two of us that are taking this class.
All right. Well, the class, I want it to be as, not as interactive as possible, 100% interactive. I want this class to be 100% interactive. So what it means is that me, as I'm standing before you now, I will do less talking, less. I'll try my best to be that, so that you will be the one contributing, so that you give us the way out. Now, Mr. Nansha began saying that what happens when you as a mediator, you encounter parties that are unwilling to move. Okay. Yes, you want to contribute. I love the class already. I love class. You want to contribute? Yeah, I told you. This class, I will not stress myself. Yes. You call caucus sessions. Yes, when parties are not responding. Yes, ma'am.
What I have in mind okay, what I have in mind is if parties are not willing to move, for instance, the case of dispute of marriage, if the parents of both parties involved made the black person forget
So here what she said, yes, that if parties to a mediation are not ready to move, like we encountered an impasse, what happened? So she now said, maybe families, the parents will be able to help us out.
For me, I feel like that can affect the life of the mediator, the thinking, emotion of the mediator himself, seeing that he's not making success in the objective of reconciliation. Is therefore called for him or her being patient and also be able to control his or her own emotion. On that, then the focus is either go for another day or look for someone who may come in to help him to make sure that success is achieved.
Well, I will advise the parties, or rather, I will inform them to the benefits of mediation at that moment, and I will allow them, or I will suspend the sitting of that session for another time, while advising them to go and think or seek for some suggestion from their elders.
As one of the mediators, or as the mediator in that meeting, I would suggest to take a short recess so that both parties can get for a leave and then come back. Or if it's clear that parties cannot reach a dialogue, it is possible to continue I would not suggest that we terminate the session and then seek another alternative means of ending the.
When you say something not
Keep the last resort. Maybe we find other means of the only of continuing the session and if we talk about I will suggest that we need I mean put support other
Thank you very much for that. Well, sorry, what I wanted to clear, so that we get enough of have better decisions. And that when we're talking about it means we have come to the end, right? So what are we going to, what I want us to understand is that we have not come to an end. I hope I'm communicating. We have not come to an end. We just got to a point because of the mediation, or whatsoever reason that we cannot place a finger on it. The parties are not moving. They all of a sudden became disenchanted. All of a sudden are not willing to communicate. All of a sudden are not willing to, you told them at the beginning that you are there to assist them arrive at settlement, right? So you are assisting them. Now, you just discover that they are not cooperating. It's a stalemate, an impasse. So what do you do at that point so that you're able to have parties? Like one of our leaders, one of our elder leaders say that the table of the mediation table has stopped moving. So I will need you to make the table continue to move. That's the point we're trying to. Yes. All of a sudden, this mic has come back to life. Am I the only one noticing it?
You can also do the private session. Talk to one private, maybe talk them and already on the one.
Now, if you can see, there makes a mediation, right? So, in the course of mediation, you can get to a point where you have not come to the end of the mediation, but parties have become what? They are exhausted. Are we together? Exhausted, they become unwilling, they are uninterested, and they are unmotivated to compromise, to compromise on their positions, their needs, their values, and their interests. When somebody say, remember I said 500 naira is 500 naira, it's not moving. That's where it stands. That's a stalemate. Either their needs, their interests, their values, their positions, they are not moving. Are we together? Now, factors that encourage a stalemate includes what? Poor communication, external factors, having wrong actors in the room, and outrageous offers. Something of 100,000 naira, that's the subject matter, is asking for 500,000 naira damage. That can make somebody to be so disinterested. So in fact, anything you want to go and do, we are going to go and meet you there. Go to court. I mean, slide the ballot box. Go to court. I mean, so that would be an option. So, but what are the things that cause those things? You see, number one, we say is what? Poor communication. We have overemphasized poor communication, isn't it? External factors. So, some others will tell, yes, that. some friends, they are submissive to their husbands, so they tell you, hey, I don't take nonsense. External factors. Some of the disputes you see, the pillars, we did conflict analysis, right? Dispute analysis. The pillars was telling you that not in the room. Sometimes we lawyers are the cause, the external factors. Hey, look, that kind of thing. So if you don't carry the lawyer along and you say lawyer go out, it's a private, it's party straight back, lawyer will go and carry his phone and be chatting his that's so you see external factors may be part of the thing that is possible. Now outrageous offers, I've told you about it. Then having wrong parties in the room. If you cannot, some people, they don't know how to talk and they are easily angered or they are used to insulting people. So if you insult the person you are supposed to be negotiating with, that will bring it to an end. So if you have the wrong people on ground, it will cause a stalemate or an impasse. Now, when you talk about offers, there are offers that are what? Rational offers, stupid offers, outrageous offers. Who can give us an example of rational offer? Rational, yes. Oh, okay, yes.
Rational offer. As an offer that is people.
Yes. I will favor both parties. Yeah. You feel rational over any other person. President, are you raising your hand?
They're more true.
Reasonable. Okay. Rational over and reasonable. Okay, so can you give us an example of a reasonable or rational offer?
For example, the amount of rent is 100,000, and then if the other is spent, let's say 50,000 and you want 150,000, then the tenant they offer 80,000. Maybe for that, if it's offering, if he's saying he's going to pay, but at the moment he has 50,000.
Okay. Any other person? Okay. Now, you know what stupid is. Stupid. When you hear it, you know that this is very stupid. It's not something that is people say at all. And you now have rational. Rational, it means that it's understandable. Are we together? So when you are in the table, when you make irrational one, it's going to lead to stalemate. Are we together? Outrageous offer. You are seeing something, you terminate your appointment, somebody will listen, say, is it because of this you went to court? That's, I think, asking for one serious, that they will call it outrageous. Now, when you have prolonged positional bargaining during negotiations, strong emotions, goodwill, when you come for the session, there is this kind of energy you bring to the room. Are we together? When you have prolonged discussions and parties are now uninterested, that morale, that energy goes down. Are we together? And so that is what? That is stalemate, that is an impasse. So now you are trying to encourage the parties to see how they can get back from that position they have established. That no-go area. Are we together? So what do you do? you start, remember we said when you are making a quotation and you are trying to, you start your concessions from smaller ones to what? Higher. That concession. So when you want the parties to get, you start helping them. Start from the places where there will be no disagreement. You know, if I say I give you 1,000 to supply 5 bags of maize, and parties say no, you didn't give me any money. You see, there is no agreement. So you start from the simple ones that parties will say, okay, are you a tenant in the house? He said, no, I'm not a tenant. You see, that's a problem. But if you say, yes, I'm a tenant, okay, so, and you are supposed to be paying 100,000 naira as your rent. He say, yes. Say, no, it's not 100,000, no, it's 50,000. You see, you have a problem there. Are we together? So you start from areas where they can easily agree and they accept, then you grow. You know, that is how you get them to the place. So that's why these are skills. You know, I say don't go and start from top, coming down. Start from down, going up. Are we together? Now, you see, there is something about encouraging parties when they have made progress. In fact, in your opening statement, you find time and say, thank them. Say, I thank you for what? For choosing mediation, for coming. Because you see, the process is what? Voluntary. If the parties decide that they are not going to come, there is nothing you will do about it. And that ends the process. It's not like arbitration. So you compliment them publicly. Don't but you rebuke them where? In private. During caucusing, you do reality testing, ask them difficult questions, rebuke them, but not where. When the other parties have a you know, when you do like that, in fact, you have started becoming one-sided. The other person will lose confidence. So if you are complimenting them, compliment them where in problem, and then when you are rebuking them, say, okay, let's have a personal meeting, you know, a purpose meeting, then we are we together? Now you see, in issues, to classify these issues into substantive, that's the real issues, emotional issues, and pseudo substantial issues. Now let me tell you something. Sometimes now you see, when a landlord takes a tenant to court, the main issue is either if I get my premises or pay my rent. That's substantial issue. But there are emotional issues attached to some of these things. Somebody may use his emotional capability to make you not to. Somebody can just be crying and you feel as if they are beating. Somebody beats them. Whether it's beating or you know something very drastic or unfair is being done to the person. Are we together? So you should be able to classify substantive matters from what? From what? From what? Emotional ones. If all of you are crying in the session, who is going to discuss? But remember, you are going to learn, you are supposed to be emotionally intelligent. I know your worship was mentioning it. Emotional intelligence is one of it. Moronike also mentioned it. Emotional intelligence. You know how to control party. When somebody is crying, you allow him to finish crying. It's part of the mediation process. And see how you can bring him back or bring her back to the session. Abi? That is it. It's part of it. So don't allow emotional entanglement. Somebody can use emotional blackmail. This man, the way she's crying like this, maybe beating her. So those kind of things don't allow it to happen. All right. So that is it. Now the use of focusing and short-term mediation. One of the instruments you are going to use when you get to a deadlock or a stalemate is what? The use of what? And focusing. We have explained what focusing is, isn't it? Now, when you have a situation where parties are hostile to themselves, that they cannot come together, what do you do? What do? You use shuttle mediation. Shuttle mediation is just like focusing. You start the mediation by coming to this place. Okay, what is the problem? You explain it on fire. You say, okay, I'm coming. So, okay, what happened? You explain and explain and explain. You say, okay, I'm coming. You come back. That's how you be shuttling from one room to the other until you get to a point where you feel you are not satisfied that the people can come together. Some will start like that and end like that. They will settle like that. They don't want to see each other. Are we together? So that would be the reason for the deadlock. Are we together? Then you have what is called caucusing, which we have explained. Caucusing is a private meeting and it's also confidential. So you do your review in what? In caucusing private. You do your acknowledgement and congratulating the parties and what in public. What do you do? What do you do in public? And no, they said when you are reviewing a party, you should do it where? Privately. When you are doing what, you should do it publicly.
When you are commending,
compliment, celebrate, do it. Celebrate them in public. You understand? So these are the things. When someone start crying unnecessarily, you break, you go to focusing. Why are you crying? Yeah. So I never see man cry. What is the problem? If you see a man cry, there is problem. I mean, they used to cry their own inside their heart. You don't see it. Are we together? Now, you will use that to build what? Connection and rapport. There are information that you will never disclose a meeting. Somebody will tell you that sincerely, man, that 10,000 I'm asking for those people, I'm just posting where I was giving my 10,000. Man, is on that day. Those things will be where? In private. So now that you know that even 10,000 you can accept, you see that's an information that will empower you when you go to the general session. You know there is hope. So those information are for you to know how you can utilize it to help resolve the problem. Are we together? So reframing. And the essence is we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we use when we created them. Are we together? We cannot solve our problem with the same thinking in which we use in creating them. So when we talk about reframing, what do you understand by reframing? Reframe.
Thinking other way of solving. Thinking other way of solving problem.
Okay, other way. So if you want to reframe, what do you do? Reframing is the ability to retain the context or issues surrounding a question, a problem, or event in ways that serve to influence how the context or issues are perceived or evaluated, according to American psychologists or dictionary. So in the course of education, somebody said, can't bunker. How do you reframe it? Because if the person understands that in the context of what you can like natural banana, what do you think will happen? So when somebody says natural bunker, you are very stupid, for example, in a mediation session, how do you reframe it? So that the person can see it in a different perspective. That's your role as a mediator. Because I'm very stupid. You will not stand up, you will not say anything, maybe it's going. Maybe you start on the floor, please. I'm very stupid. So how do you reframe it so that it's like creating a shock absorber.
I'm on Facebook. Yeah, talking. I don't want them to stop.
Okay. Are we together? Has everybody gotten? Everyone, if you have not gotten, let me see them.
No.
You have not been. Is there anybody who needs extra? If you need extra, please. Okay. All right. Now, listen. Now, you know, when somebody says you are very stupid, how do you reframe it? I want somebody to tell me. How do you reframe? As mediators. So that the thing can have shock absorber. You know, if the shock is absorbed by a car, the car may crash. The shock absorber may break. So how do you reframe? I say you are very stupid. Then you want to, as a mediator, you want to reframe it for the other party so that if he takes it in the context of like very stupid, voila, will be. So how do we reframe? I think just that what's bring it in Hausa. How do we reframe in Hausa? Just if it's in Hausa, we can say, maybe if it's all down, if you burn that also. Or you use another abusive word, and can say, okay, maybe your own Hausa it means something different. Okay, maybe it means something different. Yes, ma'am.
One of the parties abusing product. So the mediator, as a mediator of prayer, explain to our party, for him, system of God, possibly something like that.
Okay, so that you did not reframe. Abi? Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I thought you wanted to say. Okay.
Well, I can withdraw it and apologize.
I mean, that's what I will withdraw it. Oh, but the mediator, one of the party, so the other one, saying that very sweet. So, the party, very. How do you reframe it?
That's boring.
I will report upon it to the person before the decision of the person who made the insult. And from the beginning, I made measures that both parties should reflect themselves as such as if and then I'll have things about it. Yeah, I love from
Okay, so that's what's your name?
Yeah.
Mira, okay, Mariam, yeah, okay, thank you for that. So now, what you said is good, but after softening the ground, isn't it? So maybe you can say, for example, if this person is saying you are very stupid, you can easily step in to say, oh, remember, of course, this is not something that we have agreed that we should not use addiction or isn't it? That's what we agree, but if I get you, you are trying to express your dissatisfaction with the situation on ground. Instead of saying it's very stupid, maybe the class irritated to the point where so you are trying to refrain so that the person will not take it from that context, and then you can please don't ask him to apologize. It's like commanding him, saying, based on our rules and what we have agreed. Having said this, please can you kindly withdraw it and maybe apologize so that we can make progress. Because the other person may say apologize. If not, that's the end. And several things. And we are trying to come out of it. Are we together?
That's your example of when
Pardon? One of the things that you can do, one of the things you can do, I think one is where a younger person call the elderly people say, I come to what teach. What teach? You just get me one blow, and that is how they started. We have to separate. In fact, that would have been the end of the but I had to navigate my way and try to see I have to talk to this one. Eventually, when I said, please, talk to me, I am and so we use different strategies. That's why we are looking at different. Reframing is just one of the interest identification skills. That's one of the things. If I mention dimensional listening to start turning point comment, can use transformational questions to generate interest of the party, extract and identify the interest of the parties, effective communication of interest of the parties. Now you see, like the example I gave you before, when one person was insisting that because you did this thing to our daughter, you must pay damage and compensation for putting our daughter in a family way because of the effect on her, isn't it? And what is going to do to her career. Now, interest identification, the language now, I now shifted from that one to say, oh, you see, this issue has become a family issue. What are you doing? You are trying to help them see, bring them to the same interest. Are we together? Now, you see, this child did not commit any offense, isn't it? And when this child is born, this family will join forever, whether these people are married or not. So, we should not take decisions that will affect the interest of the child, isn't it? What are you doing? Let them begin to see interest, because it's interest-based negotiation. When you shift from position say you must do like this. Interest-based, you're looking at your interest. Okay, if I insist at this point, I will not serve the reaction notice. If I insist and they say they know what happens, you are looking at your interest. The other people say, so of course, if we go to court, we will spend a lot of money over at the end of it, they may rule in our favor. So they are looking at their interest. So your role is to help them identify those interests so that you bring their senses back to what? For the conversation to continue. Are we together? So that's one of the things that you can do. Being an agent of reality. You know your partner, your partner. What is partner? Partner is best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Your partner is most alternative to a negotiated agreement. There you are. M. Lackner is what? Most likely alternative to a negotiated agreement. Now, for someone who has not served the action notice and you are at the negotiation table, what would be your best alternative to a negotiated settlement? You have an alternative. You are discussing settlement. Your matter in court, you have not filed the action notice and you have instituted the matter. Or there is a time within which you are supposed to act and you did not act within that time. And your matter is in court and you are discussing settlement. You know, if you go back to court, you may not have hope. Are we together? But if you are able to settle, whatever you are able to get, I think that will be better for you, isn't it? So you look at it. If the agent of reality to the party, there was a mediation with it, and the party said, the woman said, over my dead body, my children can never and never be with this man. Yes, they will never be with this man. Are we together? So we call out for a caucus. We say, Madam, come. Reality test is, Madam, which culture do you belong? Okay, so you know that reality, Even if this man is still responsible, he impregnated you and run away. Eh? Anytime you come back and you say this is the child, even though you are the one that raised the child, you know that you cannot stop the father from claiming his child. Are we together? Are we together? What are you doing? You are bringing the person to reality. So that the person will look and face reality. Don't be making some unjustifiable claims. Say, I will never allow this person. I say, even if he did not even avail himself and provide anything, you cannot stop this person from what? From accessing his baby or claiming his baby. Do you understand that? Now, let's go to court. If you go to the court, who do you think is the lie? If you go to court, because it's not a marriage under the act. According to your culture, who do you think they will give the baby to? The man. So if you now come and you are saying over my dead body, instead of negotiating and seeing that okay, you have a very equitable way of resolving your matter, you are saying over my dead body. What are you doing? You are bringing the woman to what? Reality. Are we together? Worst case scenario, the man can disappear and be after 20 years. If a woman she want to marry, she will say, where is my father? If you want to marry the woman, you say, where is her father? Do you understand? So you help the woman understand the reality and then know what to do. Are we together? So these are the things that you consider. The use of question. The use of question to both the parties and shift the negotiation from positional to interest, drop the dead questions. Now, like for example, what do you think will be the most effective way and the effective thing we will do right now? Do you get? When you get to a deadline, you can ask, what do you think is the most effective thing we can do what right now? What you are trying to do is to get the parties to begin to talk. I mean, so if you say, I think, I think like this, I think like this, I think like this, then maybe you ask the other person too. What do you think? What's the time now? Okay. Should we conclude and close, or we should go outside? Yeah? Yeah? You said? Conclude and close. Okay, we should conclude. Yes, I will go to it tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow full day. Yes, full day from morning till evening. Tomorrow is Saturday. It's almost always engaged. And we're going to that sort every single weekend. So we tell us of this program from morning to evening. I don't think it's that. Now, see, this program is supposed to be for 5 days of certification. We try to make it into 3 days. Probably like 1 or 2 hours. So that we know how we can arrange. Okay, now see what we are going to do is that tomorrow we are going to be having a session from morning till evening. If for any reason you have to take an excuse, we can permit you to go and try and see. This is just tomorrow. If it is possible for you to reschedule your meeting to on Sunday, please do it so that we don't want a situation where, because attendance is key. This is a certification program. We try to do it like this because if we fall, none of us have paid our training fee. We say let's do it. We can pay subsequently because if you follow the standard of the institute, a lot of people will not even attend because they say, I don't have the money at the time to pay. Do you understand? So we are trying to do this thing because of how important we know this thing is. We are coming from Kaduna for this training and we'll still go back and we'll come back again. And you people are in Zaria, so please help us. If there is a way you can schedule some of your meetings, it's just for tomorrow, and after that we can do other things. We can continue learning subsequent, but tomorrow, please. We beg. And we know as our chair, if you tell your members that please let's try and come tomorrow, you'll be around. Thank you so much. Eh? And let us come first. Then in case you are going somewhere, you can be joining virtually, then you go and come back. You understand? For now, let me conclude this. Questions are one of the important things you use. Lawyers know how to use questions. We do cross-examination, re-examination, we use questioning. That question can break a case, can make a case. So also you can use questioning. These people are not interested in continuing. And then you can ask them questions like, what do you think will be the most effective thing we could do right now? Just to get them to start talking. You can also, what do you see as the consequence of this option? Now they are saying that, okay, now they are saying that they are no longer interested, isn't it? What do you think will be the consequence of this action? What are you doing? You are trying to make them think, if I walk away from here now, it means that I have to look for another option. In fact, when I'm ready, this person may not be ready to come back, isn't it? I have to engage a lawyer. I have to go back to court. I don't know when I'm going to finish. So you put up questions that will make them begin to think. Are we together? Another thing you can do is to ask them, help me understand so I can help you. What do you see as the consequence? These are all questions. This will make you what? Bring out the interest of the parties. Then from there, you need to get somebody like your worship say, he said the table has stopped moving and you need it to move. Are we together? Then what would we do at this point that would be most helpful for you? What do you think we can do at this point that will be what? Most helpful for you? These are questions you can put to the parties. Are we together? So that they can open up to help you understand. Do you get? Aha. Then what one thing will you make would make a difference for you? Yes. What one thing do you think will make a difference for you at this moment? All these things plus many others is for you to get the party to start talking. Because you see, some people can just keep quiet and be looking at each other. And let it not be your fault. Position to interest. Remember that. Look at this diagram. The position of parties and they are far apart. Can you see? Far apart. Now look at their interest. That's the much. Plenty. But look at their mutual interest. Where it is joined. And you are going to bring them to this point. Are we together? Are we together? So you look at it. You want the parties to shift from positions to where? To interest. Look at your interest. It's not the position. The position is that first thing they are telling you what they want. Their interest is how you can guide them to get to this point. That's very important. Now, mediator's proposal. Remember, one of the things you can do when parties get to a stalemate is to ask them, okay, at this juncture, maybe you are running out of options. Will you allow me to suggest, make some suggestions? Will you want me to give some advice? Is that okay? What is that's mediator's proposal? Ordinarily, you are not supposed to, but because of the situation, you ask them. And when you ask them and you make proposal and they accept, that becomes their word, their own. Are we together? Are we together? So this would be the option of what? Last resort. You can only resort to it as a what? As the last option. Are we together? Because if you start a mediation and you are making proposal, you are violating the rules and it becomes like you are imposing. So but when you are running out of options, you should first and you need to what? Seek their prior consent Do allow me to make some suggestion at this point. Are we together? So the parties can initiate, they can say they can initiate and you can initiate. Are we together? If they give you the permission. Now, because they should not come and say that I put the ticket. If you are a pastor, you are an imam, and you tell them that okay, just forgive him, you forgive her, and they finish. If they go outside and they say what happened, what will they say? Pastor say I should forgive him. I mean, my imam say I should forgive him, and you go to Quran and Bible for me. And I don't want to violate. It's not because they have that understanding. Are we together? So you need to seek their consent, and where necessary, they should write. Put it in writing. At the end of the session, before signing any agreement or before commencing, whatsoever they do, make sure that it is what properly documented, so that at the end of when they reach an agreement, they will not say it is your own. Once they adopt it, it becomes their own. Now, bracketing. Bracketing is a strategy of negotiation proposed by the mediator, where one party raises up to X on condition that the other party scales down to Y. So let's say sometimes I say 10,000 naira, the other person say 5,000 naira. This one is just for you to say, okay, can you come up a bit? Can you come down? The person that is highest, you ask him to what? To come down. The person that is offering 5,000, you say you can come up a bit so that you can have a bracket, isn't it? So if you say, you can say, okay, let's divide 250 to 5,000 to 2. Add it on the 5, add it on top, that would become like 7.5, Abi, 7,500, and you are trying to help them find a solution. Are we together? Do you understand? They are all strategies, and your role is to assist the parties to find a solution. Now, the use of experts. When parties are running out of option, when parties are gotten to a point, for example, they say, we need a child, but that child, I don't want it to be adopted. One house, are we together? I don't want an adopted child. I want my own child. Are we together? So you now ask, what do you do? Let's call in gynecologist. Please, gynecologist, can you advise us as a specialist? What ways can these people have children of their own, depending on their circumstance? Then when he looks at the situation, he can say, okay, well, this thing, I'm going to collect your egg, I'm going to collect your sperm, we'll take it to the lab, we are going to arrange it, and see how we can get a male or a female. That may be his advice, but we say we can use what? Advice of experts. If somebody is saying, in this business, I'm an agent, I must collect 10% of the money, you can get an expert in that field and invite the person, so that you say, okay, in this thing, some trades have what custom. As long as we know now, the custom of the trade, it can guide from the expertise. Are we together? So you can use experts. Use of apologies. Sometimes what is sustaining the issue is because one party is too proud to what? Say, I'm sorry. Say, don't wanka je kai duk abin da zaka yi ka je ka yi. He's not asking for any, there was one case in court. The man come and say, landlord, he said, hey, if you have said this, you wouldn't have been in court. Yes, if you have said it. What was he looking for? Simple apology. And the tenant refused to apologize until he found himself in court. And for the apology, that brought the matter to him. Are we together? So you can use apology. If you say, okay, can you over my dead body? Me, apologize. So over my. So when you say over your dead body, that is it now. So these are all strategies you can use to what? Bring the parties out of what? Deadlock. Are we together? You know, sometimes we are the one that used to go and apologize on behalf. When they see your worship, kneeling down, begging you, say, please forgive him. Say, hey, your worship, they didn't see Abba, you know it's like this, you know it's like this, I better stand up, stand up. Do you understand? So sometimes mediators apologize on behalf of parties. Are we together? But this is an effective way to what? To help. It what? It's a catalyst of conscience. It helps parties to articulate their ideas, their thoughts, their feelings, their beliefs, and argument. Now, when somebody apologizes, it makes you feel that he understands maybe where you are gone wrong. You know, we did one mediation. At the end of the mediation, it's a boy and girl who got involved with themselves. The parents are fighting over them, and then eventually we are sitting. The thing was tense. When they finished, in fact, they said the boy and the girl, some of them, the boy will insult the parent of the girl. At the end of the mediation, we didn't ask anybody to apologize. The boy knelt down. The mommy and daddy, please, if I have offended in any way, please forgive me. The girl also knelt down. I say, hey, I never see this one before. But you see, that is the power of mediation. I tell you, we were there till around 10, 11, 10, 9, 11 p.m. During the mediation, we started from the multi-door until we went outside and we did the mediation, and the parties were able to settle. When finally they go, anytime I see their come, my heart will be, I say, they didn't obey the terms, say, not to this. Until one day, when I saw the call, I missed it. When I called, they say, finally they are brought that they need to do one kitchen. And they have brought all the things and all of those things. So the father was calling them. I was very happy that, you know, so even for the satisfaction you are going to gain, when you are able to help parties find peace, it's sufficient. I tell you, it's very sufficient. So you look at it, facilitating an apology rewards the great empathy. These are some of the things that when somebody understands, he will be able to ask for please forgive me. Two parties can apologize to each other. Say, I'm very sorry the way I spoke to you. I know I was wrong, but the way I spoke to you, you know, I'm very sorry. Say, this slap was because of what you said, so I'm very sorry. So you see, the thing will go to an end. I mean, now this is the end of it. If you want to know further, these are recommended texts. Getting to yes, negotiating agreement without giving in. That's a book you can get, you can read. It will help you a lot. Apology, forgiveness, and reconciliation for good attorneys and other peacemakers. That's a book you can read. Are we together? All right, so I think we can bring it to a close now. Do we have any question? Any question? Who? Give him the mic.
My name is Khalid Kabir. I just want to ask a very simple question.
Simple.
Very simple question. When we are setting an example, the situation, as an example, with a couple, arguing is arguing. One will say that I want to have my own baby, the other one say that I want to have the other neighbor. In that circumstance, you may likely need to invite an expert in that field to advise what measures should be taken by the court. Now, the issue is that you, as mediator or negotiator, you are trained and you have some technical know-how to resolve such kind of problem. But the expert coming in now, if advice might not likely have such training.
So you as a mediator, how do you handle the situation in receiving that expert opinion or suggestion or advice into the matter before you?
No, when you are bringing an expert, the expert comes to the session. Normally, mediation is party driven. You don't allow third party except if the parties agree. So if the parties agree, it means they are inviting the person to come to the session, to attend the session. And this is not something you do on purpose because it's something that is addressing, it's like an issue that has been identified, an issue that has been agenda that has been set by parties. So now one of the issue is how do we get a baby of our own? And the mediator does not have that expertise, isn't it? Even if he has, he may not be in a position to be telling them because he is a mediator in the matter. So the expert comes, isn't it? They will have opportunity to ask him question. Maybe it's because the man maybe has some issues, they will be able to identify and know how to cure it. If the woman has some issue, if they are both okay, some will tell you that it is not time, that I don't want to start giving birth to babies now. I want in 5 years' time, when I've already gotten to the top of my career, that's when I want. So, you bring an expert to advise and guide them on what option they are to take. Because if you are saying in 5 years' time, there is possibility that you can get pregnant, whether you like it or not, isn't it? But let it be the agreement of parties that they have agreed that I'm going to allow my wife not to be pregnant, 5 years, then they will advise them on strategies too. Because when you now want to become pregnant, it's not by fire, by force that the pregnancy must come. So they will understand the consequences of delaying. They will now understand the effect in case the thing didn't come when they expected, the steps they need to take. And then if they need a baby, you can get that. If they want a baby that they say no, not biological, necessarily biological, you can advise them to adopt. That time you bring an adoption lawyer to guide them on the process. That's the expert. But if they say they want their own baby, isn't it? Now, if the both parties cannot, maybe one person has an issue, right? Let's say the man cannot, or the woman cannot give birth. They will say, okay, let's get the sperm of the man and the egg of the woman and put it in another woman. How we know they do it? So if they agree, they say that's another option. Is your baby obey to be in another person's womb? The complication is you have to sign the agreement. Isn't it? Because if the woman gives birth to the baby, she can claim the baby. Of course, it's her own baby. It's only the document that will show that yes, this is what you have done. Isn't it? And so the expert comes to the session.
So if I get it right, sir, what expert we give is not an option or a choice for the parties to select. We guide them on their selected choice. Whatever they are agreed is you need to guide them what lead them to control.
If they want an expert, right? If you have, you can suggest to them. They also have doctors now. All we need is a gynecology, a specialist in women and possibly men, childbearing. You understand? So you will tell them if they have a gynecologist or they have their doctor, they invite the doctor to come. If they don't have, we just give one of the options that we generate where mediators proposal. That's why you say, okay, if you don't have, can I suggest, okay, in social hospital there is a professor with a gynecologist, in social hospital there is a professor, you can apply or ask for any one of them. You say, oh, let's go for A. You understand? Then you write and invite or communicate with the doctor and say, we have information, this is the issue of the party, come and then give us your advice. Do you understand? Some may come and say we need to run some tests. So you will take the samples, you go and run them. When the result is negative, you bring them back. Are we together?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
My question is on offers. That's offers, the offer. I understand that there are different variations. You can get to a point where the party, one of the parties says, okay, this is my final offer. At that point, we did not go with the other party. How do you go about it as a mediator? Do you stop there because at this point, the thinking now is that look, I have reached the final offer or go to court. What do you think?
If you have an example of a finance offer that
Okay, say, okay, the issue of the example that you gave us, and the issue of the tenant and the land, and that gets to the mediation.
the final offer.
The final offer, we are talking about 5 million, yeah, the landlord says, finally, you must give me that 2 million for this, before we can continue.
This is 5 million.
The landlord,
The tenancy.
yeah, the tenant says we cannot pay that 2 million.
So first, you need to know what is the basis for the 5 million? Is it damages? Is it compensation or
We have not paid, I am looking at the case we just.
okay, it's 5
Yeah, it's 5 million is, 1 year it's not paid. And this summer, you are
So
looking
now
at that.
let's look at the land I will ask why won't you be able to pay? That's your tenant, your tenant,
Yeah, the tenant now.
your rent. So why won't you be able
What I am on salary, so I am not able to pay like 2 million.
okay, at that particular point? Right now, because they say that if you have a facility, you are using time, you don't pay the 5 million.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's it.
Okay, so how much time do you take to pay?
I need 4 years.
You need 4 years.
So 4 months, I mean, sorry.
4 months.
4 months. That's it.
Okay, 4 months. So this question is asked, you don't have matter of what? Understand? He said it cannot be. And if you take it as a face value, it will be like this person is not willing. Maybe he has some situation and circumstances. Now I cannot ask him, okay, sir, have other things like for money that you can use to pay for this. We do not have. So remember the mediator generate options, isn't it? He may decide to say that I have a cow, I have a goat, I have something that I can dispose. You understand? So the mediator is to help him see that there are other options. So instead of cash that we're talking about, instead of form of drink, there are other things you can sell to augment. So that's what you can do. Go, if the landlord is going to accept within a time, you say, okay, you have 5 food, you calculate the amount, the cost of 5 food, you deduct it from the 5 million. That would be remaining how much? Then you take the balance in 3. You know, so these are all options that you can actually arrive at. So that's why the right and wrong regulation is not you get because if you get this one, take away the about say 5 million and you say, oh, what can we do? And you go, that would be the end of the video. But if you have to see that there are other things, possibly you can do, and you ask the landlord, if he's able to give you other things aside from cash, maybe he has drinks, he has 5 bags of rice, 2 bags, yeah. If he's able to give you, will you accept? Yeah, I will quantify it, I will accept, I'm looking for my money. Then you now go to him and you have any, if you have like this, like bars, you know, people that you can still.
So would that be done in the presence of the 2 parties?
At the expertise of the mediator, that's how we are training you.
Yes.
You decide when, if you see the conversation, you don't do it. Because if you look at the situation, the person is saying he doesn't have money. Now you are saying that he has gold, he has car, and you are giving it a joint session. So that person will say, hey, no, you have this thing. And you refuse to say it to pay. So you can say, okay, let us have a private session, focusing. The man goes over, you say you don't have money, your salary, come on. And then on that thing, you can use to. You say, okay, I have a job, I have cow, I have the, I need to have them. Now you can give it and you have to do for power. You understand? So when you finish and discuss, when you are agree and discuss, you cannot bring it to the joint sector and later, since you don't have the cash, you don't have any other thing that you can use to pay. You know you have already discussed. So you can enumerate what you have discussed. So you guide him in purpose in private, so that when he comes, you now know the kind of question you have put him, so that he is able to find everything. You understand? But I think we should call it a day, so we are trying. No more. When you have this,
So we can carry documents so what if one of the time types the knowledge information shared percent received outside what is the consequence?
Which, but in some communities of the nature, there will be, depending on the grants and the extent of which, then there will be a meeting with the money based on that. But of course, in a very big scale, that's already undermined the entire immigration session. And no other party has the right to sue when it comes to very fundamental issue. That principle part, for example, that was going to be the immigration session and decided to take it outside. Let's say, for example, issues very fundamental and decided to take it outside. And it will be damaging to my personality. You know, I have the right to sue, but that's another issue entirely. But I don't want to continue to create a situation where you have to be and sue about. But oftentimes, when the person appeals for confidentiality, in much of the experience I know many people, is to that extent which you can reprimand the opposing party and bring it back to check whether so that
in addition, that may bring the education session to the end. Because the other person is saying, I'm not comfortable coming to explain and say, you know, you tell them anything you will say, you won't share. Nobody will take it outside. Even when this person violates it, it means he's sending a message that it cannot be trusted. So the things that I intend to be kept secret and personal, and that's why we say the information that I got award without prejudice. So you can use them before. You can't invite the mediator or the party and say you said this in our invitation, so say it. Yeah, but we can't. They are protected by law. Are we together? So because mediation is voluntary, when a party when one party breaches the confidentiality, the other party will say, okay, I know wait, I will not continue in the process, and that brings the mediation to an end. Okay, I did a mediation, and there was a mediation that I was assigned to me. When they assigned it, it's a bank, I think, and another person, it's a lawyer filed a notice of what was it? They said the agreement. They said that the venue for their very good negotiation, and after that, maybe mediation and then subsequent arbitration. The venue is not particular, like it's in Abuja, and so we are not submitting. You get, if you want to stop, you have to go to Abuja, you have to go after the process there, and that makes the matter be expensive. It takes two people who are free. And if now force somebody, you have to help him understand that his participation is voluntary. And if this doesn't breach it, means he's not interested in continuing. Is that okay? So there is no any exception to confidentiality. When a party say that I government not basis, that removes it from confidentiality. In fact, you will be an asset, you will be creating and abating if you do not disclose. And if you say I give a message, that is not purpose, that's not you have to your responsibility finishing. If this man is molesting a girl or his daughter and you get to know about it, confidentiality is not finished. You understand? So you don't do confidentiality with crime. That's why we say the matter that can only be resolved or resolved are matters that are within the absolute discretion of the person. He can say, I'm forgiving you. Just go with the money, and nobody can say you must go and collect it.
Sorry. Well, in fact, personally, I had a first-hand experience of confidentiality when I finished immigration sometimes last year.
And I think either last week or May, one of the parties reached out because sometimes you have numbers and all this, but it depends on that. So he called that I want me to come and give evidence. He called because he eventually went back to court. I want me to give evidence in the matter. In fact, not me directly. What he wanted was an observer that was in the immigration session that observed. So he wanted him to come and give evidence. I said, well, you know it's caught up by confidentiality. You cannot come and give evidence. So sometimes the party may not understand privacy of confidentiality. Sometimes they just think we are not saying it. But confidentiality has been beginning to see it wraps up the entire immigration section. There are three things with confidentiality that creates the entire sequence. But then sometimes it depends on the gravity. The party could be remanded and bring it back to check. But oftentimes, at the first time you are saying, the party just think you are just saying personally that confidentiality doesn't really mean, but it is before the matter. Anything you tell outside completely undermines the process. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now it's time for us to take a picture. Everyone, I think we can take it behind and do it in front. Where? Yeah, right. So please let's come forward. Mr. Chairman.
Where do we go? There?
I think the chairs were. Should we use the chairs? Okay, let's turn the chairs, please, quickly. Based on our negotiation session. Okay. Eh? I think we need to go back a bit. How do you think together? Okay, so let's have this up. No, this time is for me. These are what and we are supposed to be in the hospital. But I think when we go back it will be better. Let's go back to what
Yeah, this form is too much. We need to have everything. Sorry, I'm not going
we don't need to see, we don't need to say like we are not saying like this and always have a pay so that you have enough pay. Like where it is like you have enough pay. Everybody captured. Let me see. Maybe I just I thought that it's no. Maybe I I'll be alright. I should have called it. I can make are you sure we're not done? Yeah. All right. I think
Please, these bags and chairs.
and the chairs.
Yes, yes.
Very well. Right. Shati.
Wait, oh. Wait.
Very. I'll smile as we get out.
Don't worry, just stand on. I don't want the chairs to show. Wait, okay. Sorry. Ah.
I just love you. But those right? Yeah. So they're right. On the platform.
Yes.
Yes, she attended.
How about this hospital? Not like that.
You understand? You are creating a financial stress. The part two is your negotiating prayer. And then decide on something if I think that and then the problem based on that program so that is one aspect that I look at this one. I didn't know that what's wrong with this one.